Niels, welcome to our series of inspiring videos again.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi. So today we're talking about activating culture again, and I was
hmm
wondering, because I can imagine that for activation, it's very important for HR and internal communications to work together. Do you maybe have any
It is.
examples how to establish that?
Yeah, I think good point. And maybe one step back, I think it's always important to get HR, internal comms, and strategy or marketing all on board. I think that triangle or those three forces are needed if you are looking at sustainable culture change. Um, Especially in defining cultures, you need that strategic or external perspective. So it could be marketing as well or external comms. But then once you get to the stage of activating, it's
Mm-hmm.
mainly HR and internal comms. Just the reach of comms, the way that they look at the messaging, the key messages. It's really important that you get them on board and you work together with them, HR and comms. One of the examples that I've seen working was called a values week, where you actually
Okay.
celebrate everything that you come up with in the stage of defining culture, a set of values, three, four, or five, and then you can start organizing them throughout the whole company. And that's something that you then call a values week. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. And why would you choose 1 week, not a
Yeah,
month
because
or a day?
good question. I've seen a couple of things work. A day has never really worked, and then people call it a culture day, which is also fine, I guess. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
typically organizations have three, four, or five values. So it lends itself perfectly for a week, right? You can have one value on Monday, the next on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You can link events to all those days. It makes it easier for people if they can't make it on a Tuesday, let's say, to at least witness some of the events or participate in some of the events on the Thursday or the Friday. I've seen months work as well, but then there's less attention for it. It feels more like it's being dragged across a whole month. What I have seen working though is that across the whole company, you say, okay, this is the month that we want you to do a values week locally. Uh, so on a global level, you can communicate that, you can market that, but then locally, depending on the country, depending on the national holidays that you have, depending on even the work week, if it's not Monday to Friday, but Sunday to Thursday, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
you can twist that a little bit. Um, but again, with a month, it becomes too long. A day, it's too condensed. And a week, it's nice because those three or four or five values, you can nicely spread them across the whole week. Maybe to add something there, what you then typically do per day. So let's say Monday
Mm-hmm.
is innovation. So you do activities around that specific topic. So you start a
All right.
hackathon, internal hackathon, for instance. You have speakers come into the company or join online talking about innovation. Maybe you join a couple of startups that are close to the office. You talk to them and you get these entrepreneurs on board to do an award show about innovative ideas, anything that you do, but typically very much linked to those values. So each day is very, very different.
And what kind of event did you experience that you like the most for this activation within a values week?
Yeah, I think I just mentioned that hackathon. I really like that because it gives a lot of energy and you get 24 hours and a couple of sodas and other things to massages to help you get through the day. And I like the competitive element and besides that, the mixing of groups where people from finance, from internal comms, from the operations, they all get together in these mixed teams and come up with the answer to the key question. But I think one of the other things I like really, really well about these values weeks, and I've organized a couple, is that we try to get events programmed horizontally, let's say. So every day around lunch, we had a lunch and learn session. And those were actually also, they're maybe less wild, and you don't spend 24 hours on them. But this is where
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people learn a lot of new things and they talk to each other about what it is that they were hearing. If you get external speakers in, there's a lot of questions that then raise other
Yeah.
questions again. But all these light things, yeah, I really like. One of the most funny things we ever did was get a photo booth in. So this was, and you get props around. So the photo booth is in the center of the office. People can go there on their own or with teams, and you ask them to depict something. So how would you like to depict yourself as being collaborative or entrepreneurial? And again, the props are essential, but then they can take pictures, and you can maybe host an award show or just have them posted on the internal website. But good fun. Yeah, good fun.
But it's fun. Then it's very easy to participate, but you get inspired soon, and it has a high impact.
Yeah, and there's lots of things that you can do. So normally, I've organized this in the Netherlands a couple of times. The Netherlands, people in the Netherlands are crazy about collecting, let's say, stamps that you can then, at the end of the week, hand something in and get something back. So that's an extra stimulus to get people to participate in a lot of these activities.
Great. And how does this then pave the path for further activation after a Values Week?
Yeah, I think it makes it a lot easier. So basically, a Values Week is introducing these values also to the rest of the company. So once you've done that, people now, maybe they won't remember them, but at least they have a vague idea of, oh yeah, on Monday we had something around a hackathon. Maybe that was innovation. So it makes it very easy to then build on that and say, remember this, or maybe not even explicitly, but people have a sense of what these values are. If you do well, they're also connected, right? You have leaders on stage that are telling something, storytelling, for instance, specifically about those values. So it makes it then a lot easier to start doing the more hard stuff, changing your processes around that, starting to measure within the company what the levels of these values are. So it's an easy, like you said, paving the way.
Good start.
Easy way for further activation. It's a very good start. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
And see you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.